Hey everybody, welcome to class 5 of the series, the CCT engineering class that we're doing. This class is going to be over modifying inputs and outputs. This is going to be a pretty short class. It's pretty easy to do in Johnson. So let's see how we can do that. So if you have a sensor type and you want to change it to a different sensor type, all you have to do is right click after you build it, right click on that sensor and modify a signal. So when you go through the system select, the question and answer portion, setting up the controller, it's going to automatically put in a nickel 1K sensor for you. If you don't want to use that nickel 1K sensor, say you want to use a 10K type 2 sensor, you can modify that sensor after the fact. Now, depending on the type of controller you have different options, but you can only select the ones that have check marks by them. I don't even know why they throw some of these in here, because like 20K, so if you're doing something Honeywell and you're wanting to use the Honeywell sensor, you can't do that. And I'll show you some scenarios in that. So let's take a look at this and see how we can do it. So here's CCT. I'm going to create a new program and call it VAV single duct. Okay. And I'm going to choose a discharge air sensor. And I'm going to use everything else the same. It's going to build that program. It's going to automatically put that sensor in a nickel 1K. Define hardware. Point assignments, and then this is going to be address 5, 205, and let's download this to the controller. Going through my JACE. Commission. Now this is going to look funny because I don't have a 1K sensor hooked up to this controller. I have a 10K type 2. So it's going to give me a faulty reading whenever it comes up. Okay, so it's loaded. You see over here, it's showing 987 degrees. Obviously, that's a faulty reading there. If I hover over the point, it does show me that it is a nickel 1K sensor. Now, I can't modify it in commissioning mode where I'm seeing live values. I can't modify this. I have to modify it in the configuration mode and re-download it to the controller. So let's do that. I'm going to configure, stop commissioning, yes. I'm going to come over here and hit modify signal and see, here's those check marks that I was talking about earlier on devices supported. You want to check those. But let's just say I want to do something that's not supported, this 20K that we were talking about. So if I hit update there, it doesn't give me an error. It actually allows me to click it. What happens is when I come here to define hardware and point assignments, it stays over here on the left-hand side. I keep trying to bring it over to here and it won't come over. That's because it's not supported on this controller. Okay, so if you ever come into that, that means you have something that's not supported on this type of controller. So we have to come back over here, modify the signal, and then I'm going to use this 10K type L. So in Johnson, in CCT, they call it type L, but it's really type 2. So a 10K type 2 thermistor is in CCT, they call it a 10K type L thermistor. Okay, so I'm going to update that. And now I'm going to go and re-download it again. Well, first I need to assign the point back because as you see here, there's nothing next to it. It doesn't know where to go. So as soon as I come over here, I can drop it in on the input 1. As soon as I hit close, now look, it tells me it's on input 1. Now, if you remember from the creating programs class, you can drag and drop this wherever you need it. I have it on input 1, so that's where we're going to keep it. If we were going to do something with a network sensor, we don't want to use modify signal for a network sensor. Okay, so where we want to change a network sensor type is we'd want to come over here to define hardware, and we'd actually get into the sensor itself over here. We can delete it out, or we can add a new one in. If you're adding a new one in, more than likely nowadays it's the NS8000 sensor, so you would go ahead and choose that NS8000. And then in here, you choose, obviously, zone temp. That's what you want to see. And if it's warm, cool adjust, or set point adjust, if it has humidity, all that. So that's how you would add in a network sensor. But anything else, you would just modify it from here. All right, so let's transfer this to the device. Save changes, no. Same thing. And there we go. Now my discharges are reading correctly. It's about 65 degrees in this room. I can put my hand on it and it will climb. But this is reading the correct temperature in the room right now. So, and again, hovering over it, it tells me it's a 10K type L thermistor. So that type L is really the type 2. Thanks for watching.